Alright, I'm going to do a visual cue in just a little bit. I'm moving the cursor right now, however I'm going to stop, and when I say the word now, I'm going to move the cursor. So I'm moving the cursor right now. Alright, here we go. Grab some coffee real quick. Hello, and welcome to this tutorial. I can't talk straight. Let me do another visual cue. Another visual cue. Here we go. I'm moving the cursor right now. Alright, here we go again. Can't talk straight. Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on Hypermedia Director. In this tutorial, we're going to teach you how to create a new project using the templates that come with Hypermedia Director. But before we do that, let me just give you a quick overview to the user interface. Right here is our My Devices tab. This is where you go to discover your devices, as well as manually input any that might not be auto-discovered. My Fusion Elements is a feature of Hypermedia Director Pro, so we're actually going to ignore that one for right now, but it actually gives you the capability to create custom skins and templates for Fusion. My Projects is the folder that your projects are stored. This is where you go to create a new project or open an existing one. And My Templates are just a folder of templates that you can use to incorporate into your project. And these templates come with the software. Up at the top we have our control clock and our date that's used to test scheduling. Here we have the restart button, the pause button, and the play button. This takes a snapshot of the software. Enable interactive mode allows you to test your interactive projects that you're going to push to a player that's used for on a touch screen or a kiosk. New text layer creates a new text layer within your project. Switch edit mode on and off is used for news.svgs in order to create layers and test the edit mode on them. And multi-screen layout is used to test multi-screen projects that you use for video walls. So, in order to create a new project, we're going to double-click in the My Projects folder. As you can see, it's empty. And I'm going to right-click and create a new project. You can name it whatever you'd like. You can set the format for it, so you can do 16:9, 4:3, 16:10, or vertical aspect ratios, as well as multi-screen for video walls. And then your target player, so I'm just going to set it as a 200. You would basically use whichever player you're going to be pushing this project to. Once I'm done, I'm going to click the OK button. And now we have this project entitled New Project, so I'm going to double-click it. And now you should see this index.svg. This is our master file. This is where all of our layers, media, and SVGs are going to go inside of. You never want to delete this file, excuse me. So I'm going to double-click on it. And as you can see, it comes with this text layer. Now the layers will appear over on the right side here. So I'm actually going to delete this layer, hit the save button, and now I'm going to click this new tab button, and we're going to go into My Templates and use some templates in order to create a project. Just a basic simple one. So I'm going to double click on backgrounds. I accidentally right clicked there, pardon me. I'm going to double click 16:9 since that's the aspect ratio we're working with. And I'm going to use the diagonal gradient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my file that I'm going to use. I'm going to drag it up into the project folder tab, wait for it to change over, and then drag the file into the white space. And that copies that file over into our project folder. Now you want to do this with every single file that you want to display on your screen. Every single file that you want to display on your screen must be in your project folder. So once we've done that, I'm going to drag this up to our preview panel or our layers panel, whichever one works best for you. And the position of it automatically defaults to the center. So I'm going to right click and full screen this since we want this to be full screen. And this particular SVG allows you to edit the color of it, so I'm actually going to double click on it. And as you can see, we have a top left color and a bottom right color. And I'm going to double click on this little color stripe. And this opens up the color selection window. And you can spin this ring around to get the type of color that you want. And then the inside triangle allows you to adjust the shade of it. So I'm just going to leave this as a gray. You can also, if you know the values of the hue, saturation, and value, input those, as well as the red, green, and blue values. Or if you have a color code, you can also use that as well. You can also use this eyedropper tool to match the color of anything on your screen. So I'm actually going to match this top of this play button. As you can see, it's a lighter gray. And I'm just going to keep that. So I'm going to click the save button, and now we have our background. So now we're still in our background SVG, as you can see by the top here that actually tells you diagonal gradient.svg. So I'm going to click the back button, and now as you can see, we're in our index.svg now, which is where we want to be. I'm going to go ahead and lock this layer so it can't be moved or replaced, so we don't have to worry about the background getting replaced since it's full screen. Now what I'm going to do, go back to my backgrounds folder, and hit this up arrow to go up a folder, hit it again to go back to our templates folder, and the next thing I'm going to do is grab clock. So I go into the clocks folder, and I'm going to grab the 7segments.svg. You can use whichever one you'd like. And I'm going to drag it up into our project folder tab, same process, drag it into the white space. So now we have our 7segments.svg in our project folder. And I'm going to drag it up into our preview panel. And with the software, you can size and position this wherever you want on the screen. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to click the save button. And just like the diagonal gradient 1.svg, you can double click in this SVG in order to change the mode, 12 or 24 hour, as well as the color, which I'm going to make it black. It's the same process as before. So now we have our clock the way we want it, so I'm going to hit the back button and go back to our index.svg. Now another thing that people like is news tickers. So I'm actually going to, I didn't need to open up that new tab. I'm going to hit the up arrows again to go back to our to our templates folder, and then I'm going to double click on the news folder. And I'm going to grab this news_ticker.svg. Once again, the same process to get it into our project folder. And I'm going to drag it up to our preview panel. Once again, it defaults to the center position. Then I'm going to size and position it however I'd like on the screen. I'm going to hit the save button. Just a common practice to make sure you always save your work. And then I'm going to double click on the news_ticker.svg. And this will open up a slightly more complicated set of properties that you can adjust. So the ones that we're going to be focusing on right now are the RSS feed source. You can actually type any valid RSS address that you want in here. But for right now, we're just going to click this down arrow button and use the rss.news.yahoo.com link. So I've selected that one, and now I'm going to click away from it. So that sets the setting, and then I'm going to click the apply button. And now as you can see, it is scrolling the rssnews.yahoo.com feed. And I click the save button. And you can also, if you want to, feed from XML files, CSV files, TXT files, or iCal files. You can also adjust the font and color by double-clicking where it says SPX title, both in brackets. You highlight the text, and then you can select the type of font you want. So I'm going to select Arial, and also select the type of color that you want. So I'm just going to leave it as black. You can bold the font, italicize the font, or increase or decrease the size of the font. So I'm going to click the OK button. You can change the direction of the crawl. You can also change the crawl speed, so if I want this to be a little faster, I'll set it to 200%, click apply, and now it's twice as fast. You can also set the background color Right now you don't see a background color because the opacity is set to 0, but if I were to set it to something at, say, 0.5, now you can see it's halfway there. But I'm just going to leave it as 0. Once I'm done, I'll hit the save button, and go out and hit the back button. So now we have a clock, a background, and a news feed. So let's bring in some videos now. So the process to do this is quite simple. You just go out to your computer through Windows Explorer, and make sure you can see this part of the screen right of Hypermedia Director, because we're going to be dragging files into this white space. So make sure that your Windows Explorer isn't full screen, otherwise you won't be able to do this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to my computer and find my videos, which are in my Documents folder, under Videos. And I'm going to grab these 3 files. I just control-clicked. You can also select the top file and then shift-click the bottom file to select all 3. And I'm going to drag these and drop them into the white space here. And now it imports those videos into our project folder. So once they're in our project folder, I'm actually going to go and take this Dark Knight video, put it in our Layers panel. Once again, you can size and position this however you want. As you can see, this video has a widescreen aspect ratio, so it's not actually going to appear fully in the box. You can actually change this by unchecking the preserve aspect ratio, but I'm just going to preserve it for this particular instance. You can also, if you want, put multiple videos as layers in your project, and you can size and position them as well to be however you'd like. Or you can create a playlist to have the videos play sequentially. So I'm actually going to delete both of these layers, and I'm going to right click and create a new playlist, and I'm going to name it whatever I'd like. So I'm just going to leave it as playlist, and I'm going to drag that up to our preview panel, our layers panel. Once again, I'm going to size and position it however I'd like on the screen. Save it. And now double click inside the playlist.svg, and now you'll see this layers panel now is called a media panel, since we're inside our playlist.svg. So now I'm going to control click all 3 of our videos, drag them into our media panel now. So now we have all 3 of our videos in here. And you can order these to be in whatever order you want by dragging the videos. Doesn't matter what order they are. And then when I'm done, I'll click the apply button. And now it's playing this playlist in the order that I've chosen. And once it's done, it will loop the playlist, so it'll run forever. So now we have the basic elements for a project using some templates and some files that we've gotten off of our computer. Once we're ready to publish this, I'm going to get everything set up to publish. The process to publish a project to a player is you're going to want 2 tabs open. You're going to want a My Projects tab and a My Devices tab. And as you can see, since there's no players appearing here in my Devices tab, I'm actually going to go into the Citizens collection since I know I have players here. As you can see, we have the icons for players here. Now I can't currently see any players, but I'm going to show you the process to push content to the players. It's not actually going to work on my side, but on your side you should be able to see green check marks for your players if you've connected them correctly. So this process is you're going to go to My Projects tab. You're going to take your project folder. It's nearly the same process as dragging one of your files from your templates into your project folder tab. You're going to drag it to your Devices tab. It'd either be called your collection title or My Devices. You're going to drag it to your Devices tab, wait for it to change over, and then you're going to drag it on top of a player that you want to push to, and then you're going to release your left click button. As you can see, this progress bar is now showing up. Now if it would have worked correctly, your progress bar would have filled up all the way red, And once it was done, you'd see a green check mark here, and it would say done. And that would mean that your content would be pushed to your player, and it should appear on your display. So that's how you create a basic project in Hypermedia Director using the templates that are provided to you. If you have any questions, feel free to look at the support wiki at support.spinetics.com, and I'll see you guys later.